All right, joined now by Andy Gresh, coming to you from his brand new studio at the Gresh Palace. Really only a few miles from our studio here, but this is how it works in 2020. All right, Gresh, pretty cool today seeing the Patriots for the first time via Patriots.com. The players afterwards saying there was a good energy to practice, and everyone's saying Cam Newton's bringing a good energy. How do you feel about how he's impacting right now the mood in that Patriot locker room?
I think it's all positive signs, Yianni. And when you really think about a new quarterback, you think about integrating with everyone on the football team, because everyone on the team has to believe that the quarterback has got the ability to do the job and do it well. That said, we still got a long way to go before we really know if Cam Newton is going to be the guy here in New England. But so far, so good, Yianni. I'll take it.
Now, we haven't spoken since he and Stidham and Hoyer spoke to the media on Friday. Everyone's saying the right thing. They're all waving the pom-poms for each other. How awkward of a situation is it? Because really, Cam was brought in to steal Stidham's job, and Stidham took over from Tom Brady. How do you see it working out with these three guys, not necessarily on the football field, but just from a competitive standpoint each day at practice?
Yeah, I think hopefully they push each other, number one. And number two is I think that, Jared Stidham's got to find a way to stand out so far above and beyond the legend that is Cam Newton. I just don't know how he can win the job. And I think Brian Hoyer, he's there to get along. He understands his role. It's to be the blender, to be really the ear for both guys, and to get both of those quarterbacks to trust him so that he can impart the wisdom that he has in this offense to each of those dudes. But that said, I still think we kind of understand the hierarchy here, Yianni, in that all three will probably be on the roster, but we know that Stidham is still the guy in waiting as long as Cam Newton is here.
All right, I want to ask you about the running back position. Deep coming in, but Sony Michel's been on PUP. They bring in Lamar Miller, who's coming off an ACL, but he had a pretty good 2018. How do you see that position group coming along, especially with some predicting Damian Harris could break out this year?
I love me some Sony Michel, but I also think that Damian Harris will find a role within this offense. And I think they brought in Lamar Miller to maybe be the fail-safe or, the net in case something happens with Rex Burkhead. I think those guys, Yianni, are very transferable in terms of their skill set. But look, they like to layer the roster. We know they like to try to have two of the same at every position if they can. And really, it's no different than running back. If you treat James White like a hybrid running back wide receiver, that means you're pairing up 2 and 2. And I think it works. It allows the Patriots to then make the decisions they need to when it comes to finalizing the roster.
You mentioned the roster. Nowadays, this time of the year, there's so many lists of best rosters, most talent. For many years, even if the Patriots didn't have a great roster, Tom Brady masked so many deficiencies. Now that he's gone, does this team have enough talent? Do they have enough playmakers on this team, even with the brilliance of Belichick, to get to a normal Patriot level?
Right now, as we look at it, no. It's evident that they've got a playmaker on offense in Julian Edelman, and you could throw James White in there, and they have a playmaker on defense in Stephon Gilmore. After that, it's really guys fitting into the system. And look, it's nice to have the stars. It's nice to have the guys to say, ooh, look at this shiny Rob Gronkowski that I can put up, on the mantle, and he's ours and we love him. But at the end of the day, it's always been about team, Yianni, and I think some people will organically start to stand out. I think Mohamed Sanu is going to have a really nice year. Everybody was dogging him out. You know that on New England Nation, I was the defender of Mohamed Sanu. I think he and Cam Newton are going to blend very well together.
All right, in rest of the NFL, specific to the Bucs and everyone else in the league, what is your, I don't want to say hot take, but what is a developing opinion from Gresh, either about the Bucs or any other team in the NFL right now that we should be looking out for?
Well, I think it's a little bit of an overall bigger picture thing, Yianni. And, every Tuesday there would be workouts, and the NFL just reinstated the ability to be able to have players come in for workouts. If you notice, the rosters got cut from 90 to 80 because there was some rigmarole in terms of how many you had on the roster relative to your practices. Look, I think, Yianni, this is going to be the year of player stashing. right? Like the Atlanta Falcons have a hotel in their campus where they train. You mean to tell me there isn't going to be a couple of guys there that if somebody pops a COVID test on a Thursday, we press the button soda machine theory, here comes down from room 712, and we can not into the lineup, but he might be able to play on a Sunday. I think we're going to see a lot of that this year in the NFL, because if guys pop positive for COVID, you need somebody on the spot ready to go. So that player stashing and hiding is going to be huge this year.
And to the Bucs, are you buying into Brady, Gronk, and lollipops and rainbows everyone is talking about down there in Tampa?
Oh, yeah. Tom Brady will push his will onto that football team. I am convinced to a moral certainty.
All right, he's Yianni Gresh. You can listen to him every night on WPRO 6 to 9, nationally on CBS Sports Radio. And, of course, he'll be joining us in New England Nation in no time. That first week in September is our first show. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Gresh.
Word up.